Hey guys, my name is Jordan. Welcome to Acoustic Scribblings. Thanks so much for watching. My question for you today is, why would you buy an Ibanez AW150? This is what I've got in my hands. So I've been playing this guitar for about 8 months now, and I did a review on it about 6 months ago, and I wasn't super impressed with it. But the more I play it, the more I realize little things about it that I really like, and I want to show those to you today. Alright, so just the shot of the guitar here, like just looking at it, it's a very pretty guitar. So for starters, we've got that going for us. It looks awesome. The finish feels great on it, and I'll touch more on that in a minute. But for starters, this is just super pretty, so let's move to the headstock. I really like the headstock on this. I know it's upside down for you guys, but not for me. So the inlays, I don't know if you can tell this or not, but it's like a fake pearl inlay, so in the right lighting it looks really pretty. The silver hardware looks really nice, and I like this coloration, this light and dark contrast. I just think it's really, it's just really nice. It might not be like that on every Ibanez you buy, but in this one it is. The shape of the headstock is really nice. You can just barely see at the headstock, it curves out just a little bit right up on the crown here, and I like that. I think it's a simple design, but it is done very elegantly, and I like that. Also, the nut is bone, so that's a big plus. The next thing I wanted to show you was when you look at the edges of the frets, they're not super bad, not super good. It's a Chinese-made guitar. They're kind of what you would expect. They're not sharp, but they're also not super pretty. But it's right at the edge of the fingerboard. So you can see that little glisten of sunlight there. That's actually like a slight bevel, or I think some guys call it a rolled fingerboard. It's actually really nice. So I was playing another guitar, another Ibanez, that did not have this, and you could tell a huge difference when you wrapped your fingers around the neck. So that is another reason why I think this is a very good buy for $400. Moving down the neck, we have this awesome little bevel right here at the end of the fingerboard. Now, that doesn't really help playability, but I thought it was unique because most guitars, they're just flat on the end. And I thought it was really cool that they took the time to make it just a little prettier right on the end of that. The frets, like I say, they're Chinese, but they're really not too bad. I love this fingerboard. I think the dark wood is very pretty. I can't remember what kind of wood it is off the top of my head. I'd have to go look at the specs again. And then we've got the laser engraving around the sound hole. I think that's really nice. And also a bone saddle as well. So bone nut and bone saddle on a Chinese-made guitar for $400. That's a pretty good deal. Now, the one single feature that makes this guitar actually stand out from a lot of other guitars in its price range is this forearm bevel right here. Now, for me, this is probably the biggest reason to buy this guitar, but combination of this and a few other really key factors. But this bevel, so it's about 3/4 inches to an inch right in here. That's about the widest it gets. But when you sit down and play this for 20 minutes, right after that, sit down and play another acoustic guitar for 20 minutes that doesn't have this bevel, and you'll be sold on this. I can almost guarantee it if you're playing sitting down a lot. If you play standing up mostly, it might not make a huge difference in the way you play, but this is a super nice feature. Alright, so while we're here admiring this guitar anyways, I just want to take a minute to admire the solid Sitka Spruce top on this guitar. It looks phenomenal. And which leads me to my next point, is the binding on this. Whoa, there is no binding. That's the thing, is that these are made well enough where they don't have that little bit of error that you can conceal with binding. And look at that, the fade from the bevel to the rest of the body. That was done really well. For $400, that fade is actually pretty impressive. Fade or seam or joint, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was done very nicely. No binding anywhere on this, so I really like that. Not even on the fretboard. It's just the fretboard glued on top. and sanded down even. So really appreciate that. While we're here, the Fishman and Ibanez electronics, I believe the piezo pickup itself is Fishman, and I believe that this has the Ibanez stamp on it. I believe the Ibanez parts of this preamp, or the Ibanez makes the parts for the preamp or buys them or whatever, slaps their stamp on them, and that the piezo pickup is Fishman's. So because if you look on the listing, they'll say Fishman and Ibanez pickups or electronics. Going along with that is the 1/4 inch and microphone outputs on this. Both are very nice. I've used this piezo pickup. Yeah, and we'll just focus in on the bridge because it's really pretty as well. But I've used this piezo setup on this guitar. I've used it playing for church. I've used it playing for some different worship that I was doing at the time. I've never had one single problem with this electronic setup. A Martin guitar that we had at my church at the time, we had both of them plugged into the same setup, and we could not figure out what was going on with the Martin. And I still don't know for sure what happened to it, but I would definitely prefer this setup, this Ibanez and Fishman setup, over the Fishman electronics that they put in some Martins. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. If you like this guitar, be looking for it. I'm going to make another video here pretty soon comparing an Ibanez AW54 against this Ibanez AW150. I think that'll be a cool comparison, so keep a watch out for that. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you next time.